Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about 16 gauge nail guns, and specifically one that I've had now for 6 months. It's this DeWALT DCN660. As I said, I've been using it 6 months. This isn't a sponsored video. DeWALT have not sent me this. I paid for it with my own money. So I've put about 7,500 nails through it now, so I think you know, I've got enough use with it now to give a bit of a review. I've had quite a few comments on some of my other videos, people asking me how I'm getting on with it. So you know, I'm going to go through the things I like about it, and there is a couple of things. One specific thing that actually is a little bit tedious, which I'll get to you know, as the video progresses. So here it is, the DeWALT DCN660. I bought this gun no other reason than the fact that I'd recently moved on to the DeWALT XR battery platform. So as has been said, and I think it's quite common knowledge and logical to be honest, is depending on what battery platform you're on will have a great influence on what tools you choose. I chose this gun because it was recommended to me as well, and I'd been historically just using a 16 gauge nailer with airlines, which I'll talk about in a minute. Gun's not cheap. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but you know, they're not cheap. But you know, I haven't regretted buying it. What you get with the cordless system is just much more freedom around the site. You know, if you say, for instance, I was doing some door stops and rehanging some doors and fitting some new door stops, and I did all the doors in the house, and then I think a month later one door was missing, so I had to go back and fit that door. And I had one set of door stops to do. Now normally I would have had to get my compressor out, get my hoses out, and it would have been a faff. Whereas the beauty with this, you just cut the stop, get this out, you know, run down to whichever end of the house it is, and just pop the pins on, just pin the stops on. So a really great bit of kit. In 6 or so months that I've had it, and I've put, what nails do I use? Just these are sort of ones I get locally here, tack wise, 38mm, pretty much my go-to size pin, to be honest, about the only one I use. So I've put 3 boxes of these through. They're 2,500, and they're just little angled nails. So in the 6 months I've been using it, and the 7,500 nails I put through it, I haven't had a single jam or a single block. I haven't had to sort of reset this once, and it's got a really quick and easy quick release mechanism here for undoing jams. And look, I did that one-handed, so it's been pretty flawless, to be honest. The weight is not too bad. It's got this odd kind of gyroscopic effect, which is the same as the bigger first fix nail gun. And I know how I have sort of made it known that I'm a bit of a weight weenie when it comes to these nail guns. It's kind of why I steered away from the battery powered first fix nail guns, because they are quite heavy. I stick to the gas powered ones, which, you know, they do have their problems, but you need to keep on top of them. Maintenance of them. So let's just have a quick, we can weigh this. I've got a set of luggage scales rigged up here. I'll just put it on there and we can weigh it. Right, let's get it on the scales. So I've got some luggage scales here. Just switch that on. We've got a 2 amp hour battery on there. Let's see what sort of weight we've got on there. Zoom it in. Let's have a look. Zooming. There we go. What we've got there. Whoa, can't do it. 2.86 kilos. So, you know, not a bad weight to be lugging around on site. So let's look at some of the sort of the features of it. Aside from this nice quick and easy you know, jam unlocking sort of clip on the front here, and this you can reset if it stalls. You've got this reset button. Another thing that's quite cool, I know that if the magazine was full you could see what length nails you got, but if you got down to sort of a few nails left, you've got these little windows they've given you here, which kind of, you can still see what length nails you've got. So, you know, if you only had half a strip in, you could tell what size nails you've got in, you know, because it's sometimes hard to remember what size nails you've got. It's got a little couple of LED lights here which shine down onto the tip, which are okay. I mean, you know, get you out of trouble if you're in a bit of low light. I use this 2 amp hour battery. I haven't noticed sort of any problems really in terms of run times. I'll use this, you know, like I say, just general carpentry. If I'm doing a second fix, you'll be pinning some skirtings, pinning some architraves. You're not, you know, just hammering away all day. And although, you know, I'm sure this could put a good effort in, if you were doing thousands of nails a day, you know, maybe this wouldn't be the right bit of kit. The other thing it's got is it's got a nice little place to store a spare tip on there. Just hold that up there. It can store a spare tip, a Nomar tip, which I think is quite cool, and they give you one. So setting the nail depth is really, really easy on this gun. You just turn this thumb screw here, and you know, it pushes allows the nail to be pushed either further in or further out. So that's a really, really nice little feature. You know, really quick and easy to adjust. So I got a couple of comments in some of my videos basically saying that the noise of it, so when it fires up there, that I think someone said that they would find that really, really irritating. So, you know, again, when it's going on the bump and we're firing a few nails in, you know, personally, I don't think that's particularly terrible. There's always lots of other noises on site. I tend to wear ear defenders. What I'm going to do by way of comparison is to show you my old setup, which is this compressor and hoses. So by way of direct comparison, here we go. I'll fire this one in a couple of times. We've got that noise, and then what I'm going to do is fire this is air-powered 16 gauge nailer. I'm going to fire that a couple of times, and we'll see what the difference is. So it's definitely quieter with this DeWALT one than it is with this one blasting away. So, you know, although I get someone might say that there is nail guns that are quieter than this one, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we've got that kind of noise as opposed to this kind of noise. So much quieter with this one. So that's a big step forward for me. So I'm going to move on to the sort of the thing that niggles me actually about it, and it's all to do with how this magazine works. You basically you push your nails in, and then you pull this sort of spring retainer back, and that's what keeps the tension on the pins and pushes them forward, you know, to get fired down. What I've tended to find is when I get towards the end, and I don't know that it's because the springs, you know, maybe this spring's sort of not quite as strong, but what I've tended to find is, actually just let me pull those back. That's the other thing's a bit back, getting them if you wanted to change nails. What I tend to find is when I've got a few nails left in here like this, I've noticed that I start to fire on maybe a doorstop or something, come back to it and find out it's not been pinned. What happens is this jumps, so it somehow jumps, so there's no spring pressure behind the nails and consequently not getting pushed forward onto the pin. So that's something I have noticed is a little bit irritating, that it maybe the banging of the nail causes that to just jump up. So I'm going to keep my eye on that, because if it carries on, I'm going to have to look at trying to get a stronger spring for that or something. So that's pretty much my only kind of niggle. I also would say that when we look at this gun here, when it comes to loading nails, when you pull the spring back, it clips back on here. Then you can load your nails and then you just, you know, let the tension off. Whereas I would have liked to have seen that on here, because it's all right. It's not the end of the world, but it's just a little bit of a faff. You've got to put your nails in and then sort of slide them down. It's just all a little bit, it's not quite as straightforward as this one. And then you've got to pull the lever back past it, and then obviously that catches them up. So, you know, it's not a deal breaker, to be honest. It's just sort of slightly tedious that every now and again I have to keep my eye on it, that will jump and flick forward like that. So, but apart from that, you know, that's my only one gripe really, and I'm sure I can, now that I'm aware of it, I can either live with it or, as I said, maybe try and find a slightly stronger spring. This gun, you know, you can see is so much more sort of portable and easier to move around than sort of this whole rigmarole. You know, there's a lot of faffing around here. You've got to plug it in, and the hose is kicking around everywhere, and you have to move it to various places on site. Whereas obviously, you know, that you just grab that and go. And sort of ironically though, that compressor, the hose, and I think that nail gun and another nail gun on top was still less money than this on its own. But you know, that's the price you pay for having something as sort of portable and convenient as a nail gun like this. We've got two modes here. We've got a bump fire mode, and we've got a sequential mode. So the sequential mode is one nail at a time. Bump mode is just you just keep bumping the tip and it keeps firing. So sequential mode is for maybe a bit more precision. You just press down the tip, pull the trigger, gives you one shot. I tend to use it I tend to use it more on the bump mode. I think even if you're just putting in one nail, you can pull the trigger, just put your nail, or if you want to do the other round, you could press the tip in and then just pull the trigger. So, or you can just go rapid fire. I tend to find that, as I said, that I leave it in bump mode, and that's how it works really well for me. Two really nice features though that you can sort of use whichever best suits the work you're doing. So there you go. I hope you find that my review of this nail gun interesting or even helpful. There is lots of people who've reviewed this, I get that, but I was asked a few questions in the comments of some of my videos, how I was getting on with it and what I thought of it. So I thought it'd be worth doing a video, and if you guys are watching this that have got other 16 gauge nail guns from other manufacturers, be really interested to hear, your thoughts in the comments, whether or not it's in sort of comparison to what I've said about this one in terms of weight, or, if you can unblock the front, or, how long it lasts on a battery, and, maybe even any little issues like, not issues, but, things that aren't as good as they could be in terms of, how the nails go in the magazine. So that's my review of this DeWALT DCN660. I've had it 6 months, as I said, put a fair few nails through it now, kind of put it through its paces. I've got every confidence that I think it's going to continue to be a good gun, and hopefully it'll go, many, many years without giving me any problems. So as always, thanks for all your support, and thanks for watching.